Good morning, Adamsville. These next few moments are actually for our kids. I wonder if you have ever been in a place that you went to and you didn't have the food or the water that you were wanting to have or hoping to have. I don't know, maybe you went to a place and all of a sudden you find out nobody brought food or water and you thought there'd be some. I remember when I was a kid, I was about 8 years old, and my parents were helping a local youth outreach. And we go to this thing. We traveled about 2.5 hours that day. And we get there, and my brother and I, because we're not old enough yet, we just would run around and just kind of see everything going on. And after a full morning of running around, I had my little lunch that my mom had packed for me, and then run around some more. And I was now all of a sudden pretty thirsty. And of course, I wanted more of what I had for lunch. And I go to my mom and I'm like, hey, where's the cooler? Where's the thing? And she's like, well, you've already had yours. What's left, if there's anything left, is for the other members of the family. And I'm like, yeah, but I want this. I don't want just water. I mean, come on. Then mom says, well, you have two options. You can either go over there and go get the water, or you can open your mouth and I'll spit in there. And we'll try that. Well, of course, that's not really what I wanted to hear. I have a guess that if there's any time you've ever gone to a picnic or on a hike or even camping, you probably didn't worry about the food and the water. Why is that? Well, you would say, well, I'm not old enough to worry about those kinds of things. And you'd be right. What you would do is you would rely on your mom and dad or whoever else was in charge of the outing to provide. And it would be okay for you to do that. That's what kids should do. And what we're going to see in today's lesson out of Exodus is how Israel, God's new people, God's chosen people, God's children, has now brought them on the beginning of a journey. We call it the Exodus journey, the journey in the wilderness. And God would, in fact, like a good parent, have a plan to provide for them. But what we're going to see in the story is that the people do not trust their God. They do not believe in him to do what they would need him to do. I want you to think about it this way. If you were to see somebody, whether it was a parent or a friend or somebody, pick up a weight that you knew weighed, because it says it weighed 100 pounds. And then that same person comes up to you. So you've seen them do it. You've seen their muscles and you've seen their ability to lift up that weight and hold it. And then they come up to you and they say to you, will you trust me to pick you up? Well, you start doing the math and you're like, let's see, I was on the scale yesterday and I first stepped on it and it said like 250, but I know that wasn't right. So I stepped on it again and it said 85. I weigh 85 pounds. Not me, you. And you start doing the math and you figure, well, 85 is less than 100. And I've seen this person do it. They've lifted 100. And you tell them yes. You're basing your answer off of the fact that you witnessed and saw that they had the power, the ability to do it. And so what I'm going to be talking about today during my sermon is to challenge all of us who say we believe in Jesus and believe in God. Do we really believe God can pick us up and take care of us like a good father could? So I hope today's message encourages you to think about two things. It's good and right that you trust mom and dad to take care of you and provide for you. Will you trust God to do the same? And to ask your mom and dad, even today, later today or sometime this week, ask them for things moments in their lives where they've seen God lift the 100 pounds. Because I'll tell you what, we all have stories like that. Stories that we should look back on and remember that God is very much able to do all that he says he can do. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you guys sometime soon.